Hey guys, Deathdealer here. Welcome back to another video on the AutoCraft server. Today at long last we're going to be constructing a blaze farm to fuel the potion brewing system we built several episodes ago. In order to farm blazes, there's two ways you can do it. You can find a blaze spawner like we have in a nether fortress, or you can farm them within the boundary boxes of the nether fortress itself because blazes will spawn there. However, the more efficient method would be using a blaze spawner. Even better if you have two blaze spawners within range, that would be the perfect farm. However, in this instance, that is not the case. So right now, we are on the AutoCraft server over at my farming area. We have a Wither Rose farm there. We have, not a Wither Rose farm, a Wither Skeleton farm there. We have a gas farm up there. And way over there, we have a Magma Cube farm. So yeah, this is a decent little farming area. So, in order to farm these blazes, what we're going to do is we're basically going to condition this entire region to limit spawns to basically just the blaze farm itself. So we're going to need to button all of the nether fortress here. As you can see, we've already done that for the Wither Skeleton farm over there. We're going to need to do the same in the Basalt Delta over here because that will be within range of this farm and it will affect the rates. And I need to check. We might be able to get away without spawn proofing this. Possibly. I might still need to do it anyway, but yeah, it's just buttons, so they'll be easy enough to remove anyways. But yeah, so, blaze farms themselves. We can turn them on and off so that it doesn't affect the farms in the region around us, because I will be constructing more Wither Skeleton farms here in the future. So, in order to disable these spawners, you basically use light, just like any other spawner you'd find, say, in the overworld, for example. Now, rather than using torches, because those are kind of low tech, we're going to use lava to disable the spawners. What we'll do is we'll have a system where we dispense lava at the top of the farm, and it will flow by the spawners, and it will disable the thing. At the bottom of the farm, we're going to be using lava. So we need to make sure that's low enough that it doesn't affect the spawn rates to push the blazes into a central killing chamber, which will have vines in it to stop entity cramming from being an issue. And then we can just stand AFK below it, swiping away with our sword and getting all of the blaze rods we need. Now we need 9 stacks of blaze rods, because yeah, blaze rods are important. No, it's not 9 stacks of blaze rods, we need 9 stacks of blaze powder. Plus, I think 54 stacks of blaze powder for the actual, what do you call them? The brewing stands, because those require blaze powder now. So yeah, why don't we get started on work with this farm. So once again, we're using the boundary box outline reloaded mod. I use it for a lot of different things. And as you can see, we have a green box around this spawner. This marks the areas in which blazes can spawn. And right here we have a line. And this basically means that if we're standing here, the spawner will be active. The further away we move, it will change colour from green to orange or amber, and then eventually to red, meaning that the farm will no longer work at this range. So, we need to find the sweet spot, which should be, well, it'll have to be below the farm because of the design we are going to use, unfortunately. So we need to make sure we're a decent distance away from that. We're also going to be building a glass cube around this thing, and we're going to be keeping it to the dimensions that are seen here. So I do believe it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's just say it's like 5, 5, 5, 5 around the whole thing. It's probably not. I think it's actually meant to be 4, 4, 4, 4 out from the spawner. But yeah, it's not like that in this instance. So what we're going to do first is we're going to tear down this part of the nether fortress right here, because it's going to be in the way and it's going to give us a lot of trouble. And then we get to build a glass cube. Right, so for this farm you're going to need a few materials. I think I should show you this before we actually get started. You're going to need a lot of solid blocks, a lot of glass, some hoppers and some vines. You're also going to want some soul sand, so that the blazes can stand on it and it should be easy enough to kill them. Now I have way more than enough materials to build this farm. I produced more than I needed. I have way more than what is necessary. So what I'll do is I'll take note of these materials, and then once we build the farm we'll come back and take a look at it and we'll see how many materials we use. But yeah, we are well over prepared. In this shulker box we have plenty of fire resistance potions, because blazes are quite annoying, and we have a little event running on the server which we're going to talk about in a little bit, and I don't want to die. So these fire resistance potions, we have like 88 minutes worth of fire resistance, so that should be more than enough to tear down that part of the fortress, build a glass cube around it, put in the lava, and then we can, get the farm finished and we don't need to worry about handling blazes again. So as you can tell by the obvious glass platform and all of the fire, we have constructed the start to this farm. Now, lava can float 7 blocks in the nether. So what you need to do is you need to build 8 blocks out, and then on the 8th block is where you place your lava source. Obviously you'd want to have a wall on it so the lava doesn't flow over the side, and then it should perfectly meet up in the middle. Now we're going with a kind of even design, so a 2x2 kill chamber, because we should be able to reach all of the mobs in there without any trouble. So yeah, we kind of have to build the platform a little bit off center from the spawner itself. Now this platform is fairly large. It's a lot larger than the actual spawning area for this farm itself, because if we press B, as you can see, the green box only extends out to about here, so there's 3 blocks of space where basically nothing's spawning. Well, 3 blocks there, 4 blocks there. It's just the way these, what do you call them, the spawning system for these things work. So next steps for us is we're going to need to put up a glass wall around this thing. What we're going to have to do is we're going to need to bring it up at least 2 blocks, and then right above where the spawning section ends, we'll put in a glass roof. We're also going to put some glass blocks on top of this spawner to stop the blazes from spawning there. Now we can make this farm more efficient by having a lava flushing system there, similar to what we do with water flushing systems on top of spawners and zombie grinders and other spawner farms nowadays, because that increases rates drastically. We won't be doing that, but we may modify this thing in the near future. So let's get these glass walls constructed, put a roof on this thing, and then we can handle the killing chamber. So you know how I said that we had plenty of resources for this project? I was mistaken. We went through our entire glass supply and we've still got quite a ways to go. We need to finish this wall and then put a roof on this thing. In fact, we need to do another layer of the wall, so another single block layer, and then the roof. So I reckon we should probably get another 6 stacks of glass, and that should do us for the walls for this thing. And yeah, I've been cutting corners, not doing the corners and things to save a few blocks, but yeah, it really didn't help. Alright, so I've created a little platform below the farm which will act as our kill area. Now if we press B, we can see that this green line is still green, so we are still within range of the spawner. Now we do need to go in there and place the lava, break a few blocks and things, but we'll do that once we have finished this section here. So what we're going to need is we're going to need the vines, some hoppers, and we're also going to need some buttons for part of this thing. So to start off with, what you're going to want to do is break these blocks here, and we're going to put in our chests. So let's get the chests and hoppers ready. Place 2 chests like so, make a double chest, do the same again, and then you want hoppers feeding in to those there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to place some vines like so. This is to stop max entity cramming. In most cases it will still happen in the very middle every so often, but this will help with that quite a lot. Now what we're going to do is we're going to need some buttons, so let's make some wooden buttons. Since we don't have fast spread turned on, we should be alright. And yeah, we need to put a wall around this thing because I've been hit with gas several times and it's really not nice. So we place some of these guys, we place some buttons. Let's get some half slabs ready, because next what we do is we break these blocks and then we fill this in. Now you put half slabs here because these guys will still be able to see you, and then all you do now is we can kill them. Awesome. So now we need to get these guys funneled into the central system. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to get a bunch of lava. Now I did realise after constructing this thing, we could have made this thing a lot smaller by placing the lava more strategically. But you know what, it's fine, we don't need to worry about that. So let's get the lava in place along each of these walls, and then this thing should be ready to go. So you've finished constructing the farm. Is it operational? Yes, you can start using it now, but its efficiency will be severely hindered by everything around you. So what you want to do now is you want to spawn proof everything within 128 blocks of you in every single direction. Because look, we have magma cubes spawning, we have striders there but they went back to this farm, more magma cubes, gas over there. We also have wither skeletons and blazes spawning in the fortress. So you want to go and spawn proof that. Personally, I'd recommend using buttons to spawn proof. It's probably the easiest block because it make them out of wood. Because yeah, it's a lot better that way. and it will probably take you an hour or two, possibly longer, depending on your area. If you can, try and get a fortress that's within a large, lava lake, and then you won't need to do as much spawn proofing. But with that being said, let's get this area spawn proofed, and then we can do a proper test of this farm. Okay, so it's been a few days. I've been doing some spawn proofing. I never actually did all that much. I've just been busy working on some other projects. So yeah, we did some spawn proofing, and this thing didn't change whatsoever. Its performance, it was still spawning hardly any mobs. Now obviously the bastion is still, not the bastion, why do I keep on calling this thing a bastion? The basalt delta is still fairly close, so you can see those magma cubes over there are still spawning. But I was working with this farm and I realised a few things, so let's quickly pop into spectator mode. So before, I built the floor 4 blocks lower than the spawner. This was a mistake. It had to be 6 blocks lower because these guys, the blazes, were still within range of the spawner, causing its, ability to spawn things to not happen. And not only that, the killing area was also within the region of the spawner. So yeah, obviously the rates were impacted. So what we did was we lowered this whole thing by 2 blocks, or not the whole thing, the lower section by 2 blocks. So there's 6 blocks between the spawner and the floor, so the floor would be on the 7th block, and that should work quite nicely. I had to replace all the lava, and yeah, it was a tedious process, let's just say that. Anyways, let's pop back into survival mode. So yeah, I've done some AFK, and I've had to turn off my game sound. That's why you can't hear anything right now, because I've been doing this for a few hours now, and we have way more than enough blaze rods to fill the potion brewing system. In fact, if we go into our statistics page right now, look at that, 1778 blazes have been killed. So yeah, this farm is quite successful. So what we're going to do now is we've got to take these blaze rods into the overworld. We're going to craft them into blaze powder. I don't know, do I have enough space? No, I don't. So we've got to craft them into blaze powder, and then we're going to fill up the potion brewing system. So I filled this entire brewing system with blaze powder. That includes all of the brewing stands inside this building, and it took me a little while because I had to crawl through all of the redstone. I also filled up this dropper right here, so that's another resource marked off of the list. Yeah, we're doing quite well. We're going to be tackling this in future episodes. We have a tropical fish farm we need to make for pufferfish, and we also need to get a bunch of rabbit's feet for the potions of leaping. But we will tackle that in later episodes. But now we're going to do something a little bit different. So me and Splash has been planning a shop build for a little bit that will coincide with the sabotage game. So let's head on over to the shopping district, meet up with Splashes, and we can construct this new shop.
So here we are in the shopping district, and we wanted to go ahead and make ourselves a Totem of Undying shop. Now I have an idea for this. Have you ever heard of a cargo cult?
No, what's that?
So in World War II, the Japanese and then the Americans came to the Pacific, or the South Pacific, and they brought with them a lot of things, planes, canned goods that the natives had never seen before. Now, after they left, the natives sort of viewed them as gods and created these religions around them, in which they built some things, for instance, the planes that the people had, trying to mimic what they had to get them to come back. Now, we're in a pretty islandy feel here, so I was thinking, what if we, instead of making this like a normal totem, what if we tried to make this like a cargo cult totem, and we make it really kind of rustic and islandy feel to it?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's go. Well, we have finished this thing, and by we, I mostly mean I, because Death decided to go have lunch and left me alone. All alone.
Yes. I am so sorry. Perfect timing, totally. Yeah.
Yeah. It took us a couple rebuilds to get this quite right, and we tried to do it at an angle, we tried to do it larger, and it just didn't work. It just didn't work. But now we have this lovely thing, and I even put in some lore here. On Octopus 12th, 762, the Grand Alliance troops landed on this island. They brought with them fantastic tech, including the ability to prevent death. After leaving, a cult formed. This site was built, hoping for the seaman gods to return. Although the builders have long passed, this monument stands as a testament to them. Just a little bit of lore as to why this thing was built, and definitely not because we're selling totems. No, that's not why it was built. It's lore. It's lore.
Yeah, totally not.
So I mean, I'm thinking about ender chest here and 2 chests on either side.
Consider it done.
Sounds good to me. How much should we charge for these totems, do you think?
I'm not actually sure. Obviously, there's going to be a high demand considering a certain game is going to be starting shortly.
Yeah, that starts tomorrow.
Yes.
For the people watching this, it starts today. It's already started.
Yes, true. I'm not entirely sure. I'm thinking maybe 5 or 6 diamonds a piece, maybe?
6 diamonds seems fair. I think that's fair.
Yeah, that sounds good. So yeah, the totem shop is all done. I feel kind of bad for leaving Splashes to do all of it. I had to go AFK during the process to go and have some dinner. But yeah, she did a fantastic job. So yeah, we've got the chests filled up. As you can see, we're selling them for 6 diamonds each, which is quite impressive, considering the fact that we haven't sold a single thing yet. Now, I recorded that clip several days ago. This video is like quite late. I was meant to release it last Sunday, but it's going out on Wednesday, so yeah. That's why last clip we said that Demise had only just started or was just beginning. Now, since this has been running late, we have started Demise? I just said Demise. Sabotage. Yeah, I'm thinking of the wrong server here. But yeah, since that clip was recorded, we have since started the Sabotage game. I reset the, the death counter scoreboard. Well, I didn't reset it, I created another one, so the original one still exists, but I created a new one just to track the Demise deaths. So far, only one person has died, that is Corner Key. So yeah, most of our players are still in the game. So what I'm thinking of doing is I want to buy some traps, because traps are quite nice. So what I'm thinking is we're going to need some diamonds for this, and I think it's over here. So basically this section here, where all of the player heads are and these little structures, this is basically to track how many times someone's been sabotaged, I think. So yeah, it's a good way, it's a good visual scoreboard to see how things are going. Now, since I class myself as a fairly good Minecraft player, we should survive for quite a long time. I don't know if we'll, die or anything like that, but the last time I played a game like this, I came second, because we finished it playing a silly little game called Flint. That was an interesting thing. But yeah, we should do quite well, all things considered. So why don't we go and buy some traps? So I know Rustic has bought some traps, and he already trapped Clumsy at one point, I think. So let's see, pay 1 diamond block to buy 5 traps. Pay for sabotage gem splashes for sabotage prices, right. I kind of forgot how this whole system works, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to buy traps right now. I'm not going to worry about sabotages. I need to, basically we'll wait a little bit and see what happens with that stuff. So we need to pay 1 diamond block. Good thing we've got lots of diamond blocks at this point, right? Yeah. Okay, let's break that. We'll put that stuff away, and I put away the complete wrong thing. Let's swap that out, and there we go. So we now have 5 traps we can use. And you know what? We're not going to do it now because we are running very low on time for this episode, so we'll do it in one of the future ones. So make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon so you know when we release those videos in the future. So before we finish this episode, I want to kind of talk quickly about what we've been doing over the past few episodes, because all of the farms we've been constructing recently have tied into this potion brewing system. This is right at the centre of everything, and I'm happy to announce we only need to build another 2 farms before this thing is fully fueled. That is a pufferfish farm, which we're going to need 9 stacks of pufferfish for. We're going to be tackling that next time. It should be a fairly simple project when you think about it. And we also need 9 stacks of rabbit's feet, which is going to be annoying because, well, rabbits are rare as it is, and breeding them and holding them and killing them and getting 9 stacks of rabbits through that way is going to take a long time. So what we could probably do is we could probably make like a kind of passive mob farm setup for them, but that would require a perimeter so that we can get all these spawning platforms low to the ground. We probably need to do it in a desert for that to be the most effective. We're going to need a lot of wolves, a lot of obsidian, so that would work effectively. Send all of these rabbits into the nether, where on the nether side of things we're probably going to need to do a little bit of update suppression to remove the bottom blocks for a portal, or I can use wolves on the other side as well to scale them towards a kill chamber that way. That setup would require 2 players to work, unfortunately, because chunk loaders don't work like that. So yeah, that is an interesting project, but since that is a much larger thing to do, we're going to be leaving that for a while. So after we get the fish farm up and running next time, we'll be calling this project 95% done, because yeah, like, we really don't need potions of leaping for anything now that I think about it. In terms of future projects, I have been jotting some things down here and there. I want to get a automatic crop farm. So for example, what you call them, carrots and potatoes, since we go through a lot of carrots and potatoes, because why not, that's another crop. And it's mainly for villager breeding purposes, because I go through a lot of villagers, and Rustic and Splashes both use my villager breeding setup as well, so getting a decent food source there would be quite nice. I came across a design for a stackable raid farm earlier on today that can produce 220,000 emeralds per hour. We're going to be constructing that on the server at some point. I need a perimeter for that as well, and I'll probably be tackling that within the next 25 episodes. So yeah, make sure you stay tuned for that stuff. Speaking of, next episode is episode 25. That's it, 25 episodes into a single season of something. I haven't done that in 4 years. Yeah, normally my Let's Play things either end abruptly because I've finished playing, or the server I'm playing on ends for the season. So yeah, 25 episodes, we're doing fairly well so far, and I hope the AutoCraft keeps on going as strong as what it is right now. I'd like to thank you all for watching this episode of the AutoCraft so far. Make sure you go and watch everyone else on the server. On the left hand screen right now, there are 2 videos, one that YouTube wants you to watch and one that I think you should watch. Make sure you go and watch them, and remember to leave a like, subscribe, and hopefully you will enjoy the videos.